My 20s have been the most challenging phase of my life, and there is a lot that is happening, a lot that is pulling at me, a lot that I'm learning, a lot that I'm unsure of. Nothing seems to make sense. One day everything makes sense, and then you wake up the next day, nothing makes sense. And there's just a lot to figure out, a lot to navigate, a lot to build. My goodness, especially if you have always imagined yourself being this person in the future, and now you are working towards that in your 20s. It is incredibly challenging, it is incredibly frustrating, it is very much unsettling, spiritually, emotionally, financially, mentally. 20s have been challenging. Yo, and another thing, I don't think that I was prepared that it was going to be this challenging, and I think that is mostly based off of my experiences growing up. Every single thing has been moving smoothly. I do this and I finish that, I move on to the next thing, and everything just works smoothly. I didn't have any challenges like that. At school I was excellent. At home I'm doing the best that I can, and every single thing has been okay. And suddenly I get to my 20s, I graduate from varsity, and it's like, what is this? Excuse me? Is this how I'm supposed to be living? Is this how my life is supposed to be unfolding? There's a lot of challenges, there's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of uncertainty. One day you wake up and you know exactly what you're supposed to do. The next day you wake up and you're like, what am I doing? And you get thrown challenges that you do not even know where to begin. So it's a constant struggle, a constant tug of war, constant things that are pulling on this one person who's also trying to make something of themselves. You're trying to make your dream a reality, and while you're still focusing on that, there's a lot of other things that are attached that are also pulling you in opposite directions. My goodness, my 20s have been challenging, and I'm doing this for myself so I can look back when I'm fully established. But also I want to share my experience with you, because as much as I'm struggling in certain areas, I know that I'm not the only one. I know that a lot of people that are in their 20s are also struggling just like me. So that's also another thing. Just always know that you're not the only one. I know when you are in the gutter and when things are just not going your way, you always feel as though you're the only one and things are just not working out for you only. That is not the case. There's a lot of people that are struggling, but a lot of people are concealing reality and trying to make it as though they are having these perfect lives, and yet they are not. And that's also just one of the reasons why you have to be very focused on yourself. You're very focused on what it is that you want to do, and not just focus on the exterior. Do not focus on other people's gardens, but plant in your garden, and then just invest time in your garden. Your 20s have been incredibly hard financially. If you know that you did not grow up in a home where you have people that can support you like that, it is incredibly challenging in your 20s when you have to figure things out yourself. Emotionally, because of the uncertainty that comes with your 20s, you are incredibly unstable. At 8 you wake up, you're happy. By 12 you are miserable, because what is going on? What do you mean I'm supposed to do this and I cannot get it done because I do not understand what I'm doing, and I'm struggling. Now you find yourself in a space where you have to constantly ask for guidance, and previously you were the one that was giving guidance. You were the go-to person. If people didn't know anything, if people needed something, they came to you, and suddenly you are literally at the bottom of the chain. You do not know anything. Yo, dude. It is incredibly uncomfortable, and it's not something that you are used to, but it is necessary for you to do. If you want to grow, and if really you want to excel in whatever it is that you are working on, then you should definitely ask questions if you're not too familiar with the space, even though it is very, very, very uncomfortable. My 20s have been very challenging, honestly speaking, and some days you wake up and you do not want to see a single person, you don't want to speak to a single person, you just don't, you know, you don't want to do a single thing. Emotionally you are scattered all over the place. And also, it is not a reality that I was prepared for. Nobody prepared me for this. Nobody told me that your 20s are going to be really, really challenging, because the people around me, they are very quiet, and they don't share their experiences as much. People are not genuinely open about their 20s and their experiences in their 20s. You see people in their 30s that have made it, but they don't really talk about like the process towards being in the space that they're currently in now and having the success that they've had. And so 20s just have been very challenging, but there's a lot of growth that I'm seeing every single day. There's a lot of character building experiences that I'm seeing. I had one today where a person was trying me, but I kept my ground and I was able to answer the questions, but I could see that this person is really trying me. But as much as those experiences are very uncomfortable, they are necessary, because I strongly believe that I'm put in the position I'm currently in to develop my character and to sharpen the woman that I'm supposed to be, and to sharpen the skills and the emotional intelligence that I will need in the spaces that I'm going and for the type of woman that I want to become. So where I am right now is necessary for my growth. It is necessary for the position that I am going to be in the future. So my 20s have been very, very challenging, very much so. And so if you are in your 20s just like me, I want to encourage you to do things the best way you know how, to focus on building yourself, to focus on investing in yourself, to focus on investing and improving your financial lifestyle, to focus on improving your spiritual well-being.